So for all the guys out there thinking you're gonna go overseas and get an Asian or a Dominican woman and bring her back here and live happily ever after, and if it doesn't work out, you can just divorce her and be done with her, you better think twice. Pay close attention to this video about the K-1 visa when it comes down to marrying a woman and bringing her to your country. This one is gonna disappoint a lot of you guys. Hey, this is Raulh of Please Act Right. Here's a panel of 6 young black women answering the question of should black men get their passports and marry women from other countries. Now these women look like their average age is about 25 years old, so I'm curious to see how this goes. First, I'd like to give a special thanks to MLR, Byron Taylor, and Tim Bright. Once again, for your generous contribution to my channel on Cash App. Please know that your continued support is greatly appreciated. And now, a word from our sponsor. Have you ever wondered why we age? Not just because of years passing, but why we visibly age? A big factor is a protein called collagen, or should I say the lack thereof. Pay close attention. Many studies have discovered that our collagen levels decrease 10% every decade. Think of collagen as the glue that holds us together. The less you have, the more visible your signs of aging may be. You don't know it yet, but in the next minute, you're going to learn how to help reduce these visible signs of aging. After years of searching, I've found the closest thing we may have to the fountain of youth. It's called collagen, and it helps rejuvenate your skin from the inside out by supplying it with 5 specific types of collagen your body desperately needs. By boosting your collagen intake, you'll help restore your skin's elasticity while reducing the appearance of wrinkles. Stop asking yourself where you'll be in 1 year if you don't start taking this amazing substance called collagen now. Try it risk-free for 60 days simply by going to healthactright.com or clicking on the link below. This is time sensitive, so hurry. After entering your details, you'll receive yours delivered right to your doorstep in a few short days.
So my next question would be, do you think, because we were talking about let's just get to the point, which is the passport, brother. Do you think that black men should travel abroad to find love? Let's just say if he can't find it here.
Is she black? If she's black and abroad, go ahead.
I've noticed this with most black women, no matter what the age. If a black man is dating outside the race, these particular black women have a problem with it. But those same black women have nothing to say when a black woman dates outside her race. Where was the outcry from these particular black women when Serena Williams married and had a baby by a man other than black? Where was the outcry when the rapper Eve got married and had a baby by a man other than black? Where was the outcry when Halle Berry had a baby by a man other than black? When black men do it, it's a problem. But when black women do it, those same black women, they have nothing to say.
I think if you can't find it here, honey, you can't find it here. Okay. If you can't find love here with 1 billion people in the United States of America, you can't find it anywhere. At some point, people have to acknowledge the fact that they might be the drama, they might be the problem.
I don't think the problem is having a problem finding love. I think the problem is finding somebody worth giving your love to.
I'm just saying.
I think a lot of them try to find women abroad. It's because their culture is different. It's the way that they were raised, because they all like to say black women don't listen. In the United States,
American. Then that would mean it would be American women don't listen, because clearly we're a diverse nation.
American.
So.
You see what she did? She could not just let it ride that black women don't want to listen. She had to say it's all women in America. That was proof right there that most black women cannot stand being told they're a problem. Think about this. Black women in America are the least married out of all the other races in America.
The men say in the whole manosphere or whatever, like, it's time to get the passport, fellas, and go overseas and get one. They want one that is coming from a different culture, that is made to listen and submit and not have an issue with those things. Because let's be honest, most American women, they have a problem with that word submission. They really do. And I don't understand the big deal behind it, but to each is its own. So I think when they make those statements, it's like, let me get somebody that has a different culture, a different mindset, where they were born and raised to just specifically cater and please a man. I mean, it's the easy route. You can mold them. You can mold them how you want them to be.
For most of us men, It's not about her catering to us. It's about her taking care of us as much as she expects us to take care of her. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that what relationship and marriage is all about? Taking care of each other? At the end part, she said he can mold her into what he wants her to be. If you call yourself being ready for a serious relationship or marriage, shouldn't you already be willing to look out for your partner? I don't want to have to mold a woman into that. She should already be there.
And I think like also, I agree with most of what the ladies have said so far. Like if a man wants to go overseas to find love or whatever the case may be, you know, if that's what you want to do, I think you should do it. Like I think you should do it if you're going for the right reasons. And I would say it's like that phrase, wherever you go, there you are, which means no matter where you go, where you travel, whatever it is that you're trying to escape, it's going to follow you there, because at the end of the day, you are the common denominator.
I love it when young people have great insight, and she's absolutely right. If you are a problem in the country with the women you've been dealing with, you're going to be the problem in another country with the women over there too.
Like sisterhood of the traveling pants, like it's weird to me. Like you're going to another country specifically to like find love. It's like I can see, you know, like you have an appreciation for the culture, you want to live there, you want to immerse yourself, and then you just so happen to find someone that like, you know, is your person. But to be like, oh, I can't find anyone here, I'm gonna go travel elsewhere and find like it's.
And that makes sense too. I'm not going to the Philippines looking for a wife. I'm going to the Philippines because I want to live in a place where the people are nicer. Now, if I just happen to meet Mrs. Right, cool. But I'm not going over there looking for her. I'm only moving to the Philippines if I like the Philippines.
I agree with Lauren in the fact that as long as you're getting married for not married, but leaving for the right reasons. Because to a point to Della was saying is that there are so many single available women here, right? And you can't tell me that there's not one woman that, you know, that just would not be able to be your match. So I think when you are leaving and let's say you're trying to go overseas to find something, I don't necessarily think when men are doing that, well, I'm gonna just say black men because we were talking about black love. Black men are doing that when they're going abroad. Me personally, I think it has a lot to do with because they don't want to do the work to elevate themselves, to get the woman that they want to have access to here in America.
So what about the black men who are elevating themselves? Some of us dated single woman after single woman, and all we got was the same grief from a different woman. Are there so many available single women in America because there's not enough good men to go around? Or are there so many single women because no man that's elevating himself wants to date her because she's just going to come into his life and ruin his peace? The young lady with the hat on admitted it. Black women don't want to listen, which means she's going to give you a hard time. Trust me, I've been there several times.
Because not all black women have attitudes. There's just going to be certain things that you are going to deal with women regardless of where you go, because women are women. So you're not going to escape those aspects of dealing with a woman. They're going to have expectations and needs from you. I think a lot of times what happens is they're unsuccessful here. They think that it's going to be an escape somewhere else. And then they feel that, okay, they're not going to have the same expectations of me as someone here in the States would. So they can, I guess, enter in a relationship with minimal output and feel like they have a woman, because more than likely, based on what the research that I found, was that those women are looking for a come up, right? And so if a woman here in the States is looking for a come up, it's a problem. But you'll go overseas knowing that these women are looking for a come up, and it's okay. And I think the reason is because the come up over there is less expectation. And they're gonna like get more for less is a bargain. So I think that that's where that comes from. But at the end of the day, it begins and ends with you. You still need to, because at some point that woman is going to start having an increase in expectations of what it is that she needs from you as well. And then what are you going to do at that point? You're going to divorce, or, oh, let me get another woman.
So let's address the expectations of a woman. First question, name a culture of women who don't want to come up when it comes down to a man on a financial level. There's no such thing. There's no culture of women who are looking for broke men. Every woman wants to be taken care of by her man. And we don't blame women for that. That's their nature. Just like women can't blame us for wanting a woman who is beautiful. It's in our nature. But what type of come up are we talking about here? The women in the United States are clearly stating they want a man that makes 6 figures or more a year. The women in Asia aren't saying that. If you make $40,000 a year living in Thailand or the Philippines, to those women, you are a come up. But in the United States, these women call you broke. Also, let's talk about women's priority. The women in Asia are looked upon by their families to be the breadwinners. Those women's priorities are to take care of their families financially, not to buy overpriced Gucci and Prada bags. Take a listen to Richie Mack from Zoom to Thailand about his girl Elle wearing a $4 dress.
As you can see, Elle's dress cost 149 baht. That's approximately $4.67. She's happy with that dress. She picked it out. You see, fellas, the materialistic thing out here doesn't compare to what you're putting up with back at home. Don't get me wrong, ladies around the world like nice things, but the priorities are different. She would rather send her money home to her family and make sure they're straight instead of buying a $400 dress.
Now, if you're dealing with a woman in Asia in her 20s, she might have westernized thinking because of social media. But if you're dating a woman who's more grounded, because she's a little older, like early 30s or older, she's more interested in being financially secure when it comes down to a roof over her head and food in her stomach. Now, have you ever looked at the background of some of these videos that the women do on TikTok and Instagram when they're in their houses? Some of those houses look huge. How much do you think those houses cost? If the average house in America costs between $200,000 to $500,000, what do you think that mortgage is going to be? This is one of the reasons why a lot of American women are saying they want men that make 6 figures, because of the high expectations and lifestyle they want him to provide. But men over in Asia are renting houses, nice houses, for $450 to $600 a month. There are also guys over there building houses with their wives and their girlfriends that cost between $20,000 and $55,000. And we're not talking about shabby houses either. Now, on a side note, fellas, foreigners cannot own property over in Asia. If you build a house over there, she retains 51% of ownership. So if you two fall apart, she gets to keep the house. Just keep that in mind. Now, women over in Asia are born and raised to take care of their husband and take care of home. So she's going to be more cooperative than most women in the West. Now, don't get me wrong, women are women. Sometimes you're going to get some pushback. But it's easy for a man to take care of a woman who you just can't understand sometimes, that takes care of home, than it is to take care of a woman who says she's not gonna cook, she's not gonna clean, hell, she's not gonna do anything for that matter. So for a man, fulfilling the expectations of a woman overseas is way better financially and mentally than trying to fulfill the expectations of a westernized thinking woman over here. So she's right, all women have expectations of their men. It just depends on the level of expectations she has.
But if they're going overseas to get her, they need to first understand the K-1 visa process. And they need to understand that a woman, honey, she can't work. She can't work for the first probably year.
And she don't want to.
You have to
so we're going to go into... Okay, so I'm glad that you brought that up. Thank you, Tam, for going into our next video.
So for all the guys out there thinking you're going to go overseas and get an Asian or a Dominican woman and bring her back here and live happily ever after, and if it doesn't work out, you can just divorce her and be done with her, you better think twice. Pay close attention to this video about the K-1 visa when it comes down to marrying a woman and bringing her to your country. This one is going to disappoint a lot of you guys.
What is this form? You might have also heard of sponsoring an immigrant. And it has to do with the financial status of the petitioner, usually a U.S. citizen, sometimes a permanent resident, filing a form and saying, I am going to take care of this immigrant so they do not become a public charge, so they don't come to the United States and ask the government for benefits. And so they sign this form and they have to give proof of their earnings and tax returns and W-2s and 1099 forms and this kind of thing. Why do they do that, and what does it mean? What exactly am I signing here? Well, basically, if you read the forms, what you are signing is a promise to support this immigrant so that they do not become a public charge in the United States. Now, for most people, this is a close relative. This is a spouse, sometimes it's a child, it can be a brother or sister or a parent. Usually not much controversy in being willing to sponsor a family member. But what happens if it is a spouse and then later you divorce? Well, this is where it gets very tricky, and a lot of people don't realize this. What you are signing when you sign the affidavit of support is actually a contract between yourself, the immigrant, and the government. Think of it as a three-party contract. And you cannot get out of this contract just because you are divorcing. So it becomes very important to understand when you sponsor your spouse, and of course when everybody sponsors their spouse, they're in love and they just got married and they're ready to bring this person over. But understand, if things do not work out between you and the immigrant spouse down the road, you can still be held by the government to maintain this person's standard of living above the poverty line throughout the terms of the agreement. And the agreement basically says until they are a U.S. citizen, until they die, or until they've had 10 years basically of working on their own through the work record, through establishing payments through IRS, through tax systems.
Now, you know women all over America are loving hearing that, especially black women. They can't wait for a guy to bring a woman over here and it doesn't work out and he's on the hook for taking care of her for the next 10 years. Now, let's see these young ladies' response to that.
They ain't doing it here, honey. They ain't doing it here, so I don't know
if
why.
y'all be complaining about child support, imagine.
It's cheaper to stay here and get one of us, baby.
And I hope those women overseas are watching this stuff, because it's like, honey, I hope you know what you're getting yourself into, because baby, they ain't doing it here.
Exactly.
See all the smiles and giggling going on? This is why it's important to educate yourself before thinking about marrying and bringing one of those women over there to your country. I'm going over there, and if I meet the right woman and I love the country, I'll stay there. And as far as marrying her and bringing her here, not gonna happen. I have too much to lose. Now, if I move there and I meet the right woman, we will have to have been together for at least 3 years before I even think about marrying her. I need to know that I know she's the right one. And if I do get married and she screws it up because I do what I'm supposed to do, she'll be stuck married to me, because there's no such thing as divorce in the Philippines. Well, not as of yet. And I could care less, because I would never get married again anyway. Now, don't get me wrong. The right woman for me, she'll be well taken care of. But in the beginning of our relationship, she's gonna think I'm J-O-B, just over broke.
So I think
when men make that comment, they're not thinking about the actual process and the commitment that they are going to have to put into that, and the longevity, even if that relationship doesn't work out. Like, you're still her sponsor. So keep that in mind. When
and that goes into
you find your other American woman, let's just say you went over there and you got her and you thought it was the best thing since sliced bread, and it didn't work out. Maybe she became Americanized, the thing that you hate about American women, and now you stuck still sponsoring her and taking care of her for 10
honey, and she gonna milk it to the day she dies.
And now your new wife, you meet your new wife and she's American, and you like, man, I've been looking for you my whole life, and now you got to explain to her why you still got a sponsor.
She definitely has a point. For those of y'all who haven't seen the video yet, I did a video about 3 months ago about a 55-year-old man by the name of Jane, who met a Filipino online and was chatting with her for about 2 years. He never met her in person, and after he booked his trip, he proposed to her before he even went to the Philippines. Finally, he goes to the Philippines, marries her, and gets her pregnant, and not necessarily in that order. After a 1-month visit and return to the States, James is talking about bringing her to the United States along with the child that she's having by him and 2 other kids by some other guy. James is doing everything possible to get himself financially stuck if this marriage does not work out with the woman he spent only 1 month physically with. That's not enough time to get to know somebody. So if the marriage doesn't work out, or the woman is scamming James just to get a visa and get over here, James won't be able to retire until he's about 100 years old, trying to pay for her and those 3 kids. I put a link to the video at the end of this video and in the description box below if you haven't seen it. So let's see if there's some guys out there who thought it was going to be really simple. Go over there, find a woman, bring her back, and if it doesn't work out, whatever.
Why did Albie? I gotta shout you out. He just said, "I just threw my passport in the trash with a crying emoji."
See, that was a guy thinking it was going to be a piece of cake, getting a woman and bringing her over here. Fellas, do not marry those women and bring her to your country. You're taking a huge risk as far as your financial status is concerned. For some of you younger guys, understand this. Most of the younger girls in Asia are not mature enough to become responsible housewives yet. So my suggestion is, go visit those countries once a year or whenever you can and enjoy yourself. But don't fall in love with one of these women, marry her, and try to bring her over here to your country. It could ruin you if it falls apart. Those women over there know how to play the long game. They treat you well and act like they love you until they get over here and get that visa. Next thing you know, you're being served divorce papers and stuck taking care of her for the next 10 years. Now don't get me wrong, they're not all the same. There are some good ones that you won't have any problems with. But the problem is you don't know which ones are which. The ones that are going to scam you, they'll treat you just as well as the ones who are going to be sincere and stay with you. But seeing that you don't know which one is which, the risk is too high for you to take. So stay single.
You guys, so listen, so it's serious talk. So look, I personally have no problem. I feel like if you find love, I think everybody deserves love. You know, who am I to say you have to stay in America for love? I want you to find love. I want everyone to be happy. I'm not one of those people who feels like, oh, I want all black men to myself. No, I want you to be happy. You know, because this is your life and I want you to be happy. But I just want you to know that if you're going to make moves, you need to be educated on the moves that you're going to make. And yes, if you bring somebody over, if it's your spouse, you are legally responsible for them. You are sponsoring them. So if something were to happen and this lady no longer wants to be with you, let's just say she adapts to the American culture and this fine football player just walks past her. She's like, oh, I like that. And he likes her. And she leaves you. You're still responsible for her because you sponsored her. Okay? So she can leave you and you have to still sponsor her because you made an agreement with the government that if you bring this woman over here, you will be responsible for her.
Okay, so I'm in the video right here on this one note with this one question. The young lady in the middle at the top and the young lady down on the right at the bottom seem to be highly educated about the K-1 visa process. The one with the hat on mentioned it, and the one in the middle at the top, she had the video. Have you ever heard of a scare tactic? Did they search around trying to find something that would deter men, especially black men, from going over to another country and bringing a woman of another nationality back to the United States? I just don't get the feeling this was just a public service announcement to protect black men and their finances. You know damn well if black men started bringing Asian women over here and they're happy and content with that woman, particular black women will be enraged. Have you ever seen two black women who don't like each other? How they go after each other? So imagine what they do if they don't like your Asian wife. There's no way certain black women are gonna be cool when everywhere they go, they see a black man with an Asian wife and they're happy. The longer she stays single, the more enraged she's gonna become. Now, I wanna give them the benefit of the doubt in saying that they were just doing a public service announcement. But because the one in the white hat, in the beginning, when they asked, were they okay with black men getting passports and getting women from other countries, she responded,
Is she black? If she's black and abroad, go ahead.
So I think it's safe to say that this was strategically planned to sabotage black men from getting over there and bringing one of those women back. You see how much they laughed when the one at the right top said that a man just threw his passport in the trash when he saw the K-1 visa video? Anyway, overall, I have to give these women a B+ because they did handle it with class and dignity. And I also want to thank them for the public service announcement about the K-1 visa, which was a video I was going to do real soon anyway. But now I don't have to. They did it for me. I know there's going to be a lot of guys out there crying themselves to sleep tonight after learning about the K-1 visa. Be strong, brothers. Be strong. Hey, somebody had to tell you, and I love you, so it might as well be me. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to get notified when I post a new video. I post a new video every week. And in the meantime, don't you marry one of them women and bring them over here. My name is Raulh. See you in another video. So if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these two videos right here. I'm sure you'll enjoy them too. And if you like, you can visit my channel. I have plenty of videos there. Go ahead. Don't be scared.